interesting revelation from where I sit, because clearly she was trying to put huge pressure on my bosses to take action against me.
Why else are you being sort of suspicious and secretive around labor and birth? And people theorized and claimed that the couple needed time to stage a story because Meghan didn't actually deliver the children.
At first, the pregnancy announcement looked like a perfect fairy tale. Meghan looked happy and glowing, smiling
Like this before, and somehow I remain resolutely uncancelled. But because in the end I was required to apologize for disbelieving Meghan Markle
for the cameras with her hand on her belly. It seemed simple, celebrate the baby and move on. But very quickly, some royal watchers felt something wasn't quite right beneath the perfect image. It started with small details that were easy to ignore. In one photo, her baby bump looked bigger. In another, it looked smaller. One week it sat high, the next week it seemed lower. Fans blamed clothes or camera.
Catherine, Princess of Wales, at the time Duchess of Cambridge, appeared outside the Linda Wing Hospital hours after giving birth, in heels and smiling and holding her newborns.
Angles, but the changes kept happening. Soon, people stopped guessing and started keeping track. Early on, Meghan shared that she wanted a home birth that felt calm and natural. Frogmore Cottage was shown as the peaceful place for this moment. It fit her image of breaking away from strict royal rules. The public accepted it easily because it matched the story she was telling about independence and privacy. Then May 6th came, and
which is ironic, that you should be entitled not to believe somebody if you don't want to.
If you could speak to Meghan Markle today, what would be the tenor, the tone of that conversation, and what would you say?
Everything changed. Instead of a home birth, reports said the baby was born at the Portland hospital. Hospital births are normal and often safest. What confused people was the lack of explanation. No statement, no reason given. The silence stood out. When a public story suddenly changes without explanation, people start asking questions.
Was sort of expected ever since Princess Diana, who kind of made that a super iconic moment and picture. And Catherine looked fabulous each time. These are just such cute moments.
They went back to watch old interviews and look at photos again. When a promise disappears without comment, people wonder if the story was ever solid to begin with. As people compared more images, they focused on physical details.
Sit down with me, with your husband, for an equally long interview to the one you gave Oprah Winfrey. And let me ask you more difficult questions about all your claims. But let me ask you a wider question, which is this. If you hate the royal family, that's...
In some moments, Meghan looked clearly pregnant and moved carefully. In others, just days later, her bump looked different and she moved easily. Pregnancy can vary, but the fast changes made people question things. This wasn't about one strange photo. It was about a pattern. Meghan looked very pregnant when cameras were around, but fine when they weren't. Online forums filled with comparison videos and the same question: how could a baby bump change so much so fast?
Understands that people want to know that she's okay, they want to know that the baby's okay, and it was something that people really loved when Diana did it. People were excited about it.
Confusion can hurt public trust. When people feel they are seeing one version on camera and another off camera, trust starts to fade. Once trust is gone, the whole story begins to fall apart. Photos weren't the only issue. Claims about internal documents made things worse. These records seem...
Why do you keep calling yourselves the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? Why? Why would you do that if it's not just to make millions and millions of dollars and playing the victim?
To show schedules and appointments that didn't match public appearances. If true, they didn't just question the story, they broke it apart. The biggest problem was timing. Some records placed Meghan in places that didn't match the official birth story. Pregnancy timelines can't bend, you can't be in two places at once. Whether the records were real or not, their impact was strong because no one denied them. Piers Morgan pushed the story hard. He studied dates.
To your boss at ITV, what did she say to your boss as it related to you in this coverage?
Well, I didn't even know that Meghan Markle had contacted my boss at ITV. I didn't find that out till I left.
Photos and documents, and said the whole thing was staged. His boldest claim was that several versions of the birth announcement were written ahead of time, making it feel more like a PR plan than real life. After that, the focus shifted from photos to feelings. Meghan later said her pregnancy was lonely and unsupported, describing cold treatment from palace staff. But leaked
really set a new precedent when it comes to privacy, and so if they didn't want to do it, I have full confidence that they wouldn't. I don't see anything wrong with the photo, especially for Catherine and William's children.
memos and insider reports suggested something very different. Those documents claimed staff rushed to meet Meghan's requests, changing schedules and responding right away. Critics said this wasn't neglect but special treatment. That idea changed how many people viewed the story and weakened the victim narrative. Then came the most troubling part: silence.
Privately from a lot of people, a lot of support publicly from well-known people, most notably Sharon Osbourne. But look at what happened to Sharon on the talk for defending me and my right to have an opinion, even though she made it clear that she didn't agree with everything I was saying.
There were no statements, no explanations, and no friends speaking up. For someone who often corrected stories quickly, the lack of response felt strange. In public controversies, silence rarely feels neutral. As the silence continued, even supporters became uneasy. People stopped defending and started questioning. Harry, who usually
Portland Hospital in London, and they delayed the photo debut by 2 days. Press and traditionalists criticized this as breaking with royal openness and accused them of controlling the narrative too tightly.
speaks out against false stories, said nothing. To the public, avoiding the issue often looks like guilt, even if it isn't. Morgan then went through the Oprah interview piece by piece. He said Meghan's emotions felt planned, with familiar pauses and controlled tears. To him, it looked more like acting than natural storytelling.
And she was accused of supporting someone who had said racist things. It's not racist to disbelieve Meghan Markle. I don't give a damn about her skin color.
Once people noticed the pattern, her honesty felt harder to believe. Morgan's most controversial point came next. He argued that pregnancy became a shield. Asking questions started to look cruel, and criticism was called abuse. He didn't say motherhood was fake, but that it was used to block scrutiny. Once people noticed this pattern, it stopped working.
I actually see zero issue with Meghan and Harry waiting 2 days to do the photo op and changing the photo op in terms of its dynamic, location, timing, etc. because they're a little bit closer to Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice rather than...
Instead of quieting critics, it made them louder. The issue became bigger than photos or hospital details. It turned into a question of trust. This wasn't a scandal that exploded all at once. It slowly grew through silence, changing stories, and unanswered questions.
I read a report that said there were 57,000 complaints against you at Good Morning Britain. Do you have any idea of how many were in support of you?
All I can say is there were 7,000 complaints against me.
Once trust breaks, it rarely fully comes back. Every new claim is questioned, and the benefit of the doubt disappears.